Senator Joel.
My colleague Senator Platt has invited me to join the debate, and I will accept that invitation, Senator. Thank you. As you know, the Charter contains a list of rights, and the Supreme Court has clearly recognized that there is no one right superior to the other. They are all rights that exist simultaneously in anyone's a person capacity to intervene in public debates. For instance, in the case that you raise, that it would be an infringement on Section 2B, which is, freedom of thought, freedom of discussion, freedom of debate, would be in conflict with Section 15 to the Equality Clause, to the benefit of the law. And of course, all those rights, whatever they are subjected to reasonable limits in a free and democratic society. And the court has established clearly the test, to impose, to conclude if the democratic society or reasonableness is met with a limit. So if you are so, if you hold the conclusion very strongly that this bill is an infringement on the Charter, instead of building it into an exception, why should we not consider to refer the bill to the court so that the Supreme Court would pronounce if this bill is constitutional or not, and it would put an end to the debate, and everybody in Canada would recognize the wisdom of the Supreme Court in relation to the interpretation of the alleged violation of Section 2. It seems to me that there is a way around, the argument that this bill is an infringement, and we would know, considering the fact that in almost 10 provinces, I think our colleague Senator Baker has been listing the provinces in which there are provincial legislation of a similar nature, then we would have a law in the land that would be final, and everybody would abide by it and adjust to it. So is it not the more, less expensive, more efficient way to address the constitutional doubt that you have with the bill instead of trying to amend it?
Thank you for the question, sir. From my perspective, the contention in regard to this bill is a red flag in regard to the bill. And so the proper thing to do is to address the contention, not necessarily to refer the contention to a court comprised of individuals who will have their own contention, perhaps. You've heard from lots of witnesses why they're concerned about this bill, people who are versed in the criminal law and people who are versed in the Charter. So it seems to me to be, if you want to uphold the principles of a free society, the proper thing to do is to put an amendment into the bill to address the concerns which a lot of people have. But of course, it's open to the Senate to refer the bill to the Supreme Court of Canada and obtain a ruling.
Well, we could amend the bill saying, the bill will not be enacted, following pending reference to the Supreme Court. There's a possibility to do that, but of course, it's not the way you have proposed. You prefer that the legislation be amended and then challenged in court, because one day or the other, as we heard from the previous witnesses, that kind of proposal, is susceptible of court challenge.
But it's not even clear what it is you're trying to do. I mean, is the bill intended to force speech or not? People are saying, no, it doesn't do that. If that's what you mean, then say so. If you do mean that, then let's say that. I mean, why would you want the courts to be making the law in the country? You're the legislature. Legislate.
Well, we can legislate as long as we want, but you contend that if we legislate this bill, it would be unconstitutional.
Not if you put in the amendment, sir.
No, but on the basis of what it is now. So in other words, what you tell me is that if this bill is not amended, you would be of the opinion that it could be challenged, and it would be challenged.
But at this stage, you don't even know what it is that the court's going to be looking at, because you haven't had it interpreted by the commission yet. It's a complete open book. why don't you decide what it is that you want the statute to actually say? And put that in place, and then if it runs into constitutional
We'll have
trouble,
to leave
then
it
so be
there.